As usual, I'll wait a few seconds to make sure the system catches up. And after I get done with the message, I'll play around with the, but let's see if I can do it now. Somebody was saying if you swipe down here, you can slow this down. So let's see if I can do that. Alright. Now supposedly that should, well, it doesn't seem to be working. Let's see if I can make it do it. I said I was going to do this last night, right? But I didn't get around to it. And today, as you can tell from the... Okay, well, I don't know that I'll be able to change the speed on that, but we'll see what happens here, okay? I've tried, okay? All right. It looked like you died days ago. Hey, it's been a white knuckle day. This has been, what, 3 or 4 days now. Can you all hear me okay? Because I'm out and about, and I dropped into a grocery store where they have a Wi-Fi so I could get this done. Plus my battery on my phone was dropping down, and I needed to get some power to it. And of course I picked a table that's shaky, so that's another problem. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to it. Looks like I may have slowed it down a little bit, huh? Well, I hope so. I'm going to play with it here again and see if I can slow it down even more. Okay, I don't know that that'll work, but we'll see. I tried to follow the instructions. All right, everybody, as you know, I'm Roy Potter. This is Roy Potter QA. You already know because you're here. Hello, everybody. And as you can tell by the title of the video, it has been a white knuckle day. At least it has for me and several people that I've been communicating with, and I imagine for some of you as well. And it looks like, at least at this point, and it's still not over yet, and we've got several days during this initial part of the season's holidays here, with Thanksgiving coming up here in just, about, what, 30 hours now. Some of you will be less than that. Anyway, so let's talk about what's happened. White knuckle, yeah, because I've been gathering information from every place I possibly can, trying to find out, if anything's happening either overtly that might be reported by the MSM or maybe things that would not be. And let's go over a couple of things. Can you all hear me okay? Because there is a lot of background noise here. I'm trying to speak up a little bit. Hopefully that'll be all right. Now, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. All right, yeah, all right. So, as you know, first off, I want to say please go to October Rain's Montegraph and view his new video he put up, I believe it was today, called After 70 Years. He reveals some things in there that I think are extremely important. I won't explain his code there either now because that's his business. But you need to see that. If for no other reason than to look at Trump as he walks down the stairs with those other goons that he has to deal with, those other demons that he has to deal with. Look at that and just study the way he looks and what he's taken upon himself. It brought tears to my eyes to think that he has to stand there almost butt naked alone with these demons. It's crazy. So, after 70 years, all right, go see that. It's on YouTube, of course. I've been tweeting it out on Twitter, and so have some other people. So if you can't find any other way, you've got Twitter, you can go to my thread and look at it there and see it. Okay, so basically today, what we've seen, some more Q stuff came out. I'm not going to address that. Again, I'm going to let Tracy Beans is the go-to as far as I'm concerned there. There are a couple of others, but I'm going to send her send you to her, even though I could send you to somebody or one or two other people as well. But I'd like to send you to her because I like her style and I like the way she doesn't throw any BS around. Everybody makes mistakes with this stuff, obviously, but she's just out there to give it to you, give you the information. So this is where we are, and this is why I wanted to do the video tonight, or the live stream. The biggest thing that happened today, of course, if you saw Montegraf's deal, Coop's Nest, and if you watched Coop's Soup, you would see that we were concerned about a possible assassination attempt on Trump. And that still exists, obviously. The coup's not over with yet. But we do think that there was supposed to be something that happened today. I'm going to tell you why it probably got curtailed, although I think most of you probably know. What did come out today in the media, not the mainstream media, but some other places, was that ISIS put out a hit on Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron. Assassinate Barron Trump. Now, I've talked to a few of you on Twitter on this already, and I hope you understand, I think we all should by now, my old equation, right? CIA equals ISIS equals Obama equals Hillary equals Bush equals on and on, right? So here we go with another statement from the CIA to Trump, threatening his family. And you can't view it any other way, and I can't imagine Trump viewing it any other way. All right? But some things occurred today where if they were going to try to plan something, and I mean the CIA or whomever, that Trump had his countermeasures out and was able to avoid that. And it goes back again, I think, to the situation that we had over the weekend at Langley CIA, the CIA Langley, Virginia headquarters. There's been a lot of talk, as you all know, because we talked about it to some extent the other night. And I'm really getting tired of the story now. But the fact of the matter is, Abel Danger talked about it again today, I believe it was, or it may have been last night. That's Field McConnell and his group. And basically the same thing that we've been saying, that there were absolutely no tactical units on the ground at CIA Langley. There were none. They didn't assault the building. They didn't go in and raid it. Okay, that's not what happened. There was, apparently, as we've hinted at, a show of force by this Marine Expeditionary Unit, and it was either at one of two places or possibly both. Norfolk Naval Air Station and Langley Air Force Base. Okay, both of those are about 100 miles or more away from Langley CIA Langley. All right. There were some reports that possibly there were some aircraft flying over CIA Langley, but that could have happened anyway. I mean, I wouldn't say that anybody would fly over Langley because it's absolutely restricted airspace. But we don't know the distances, the altitudes, or anything like that. None of that was given to us. But what Field McConnell said, and I wholeheartedly agree with this, is that this was a message, and even Scott Anthony said this the other day. He said that, this MEU that's 180 miles away in Norfolk, we already knew about it. In Norfolk and at we didn't say Langley Air Force Base, but he did say Norfolk. What would be a show of force? Okay, the mere fact that they were there to back up whatever message Trump was sending to the CIA, knowing that they were going to make a move this week. Okay, so Trump began bombing the CIA opium facilities in Afghanistan, blowing the hell out of them. Have you been watching that? Even the Washington Post talked about it. And of course, like I just said, all of those opium facilities in Afghanistan are CIA operations. So Trump didn't stand down. He didn't cower. He went and bombed the hell out of them. Okay? But because he doesn't like this opioid epidemic. But again, him saying that is also cover for the fact that he's telling the CIA that he's not going to play around with them anymore. That's sure the way it's looking. Okay? So that was the first thing. The second thing is there's some rumors going around out there that this storming of the CIA, they went in there and they took documents out of the CIA. No, that's not what happened, okay? The most that happened was that Trump, while this MEU was basically on alert at either Air Force Base Langley, not Langley CIA, okay, CIA Langley, Virginia, this is Langley Air Force Base, there, or at Naval Air Station Norfolk, or divided up between those two places. It's really, hard to say what the tactical situation would have been. But it's very likely, if there were documents taken from the CIA, it could have been an NSA penetration of the CIA. That's a possibility. Or there was a document delivered by a Marine officer or an envoy, okay, probably a small group of military Marine officers, I would guess, who could have delivered a message, who went to CIA Langley and delivered whatever ultimatum Trump was giving them. Okay, that could be the case too. Again, I don't know the circumstances, but there's no doubt that the MEU was not at CIA Langley, but was doing a show of force at Air Force Base Langley and or Naval Air Station Norfolk. So I think I've made that abundantly clear now. And Field McConnell explained it the same way. And he did say there was a possibility that there were some overflights of the CIA. Again, he knows the flight plans. I don't know if he's looked at them, but they probably could have done that again as a show of force. But there were no landings, of that nature for an assault on the CIA building itself. All right, so that happened last weekend, and then according to Field McConnell and the information that the rest of us have been getting, that MEU pulled out of there on Sunday. They didn't stick around. They didn't occupy the CIA headquarters. Okay, they left. Their message was delivered. Okay, so whatever the CIA through their tentacles, ISIS, Black Lives Matter, OFA of Obama, whatever, Antifa, all of these groups. Basically, the message was, I'm sure, to the CIA that you pull any shenanigans, and like I said on a couple of my videos, we'll come and we'll level you. But they didn't do it this weekend. They didn't even occupy the building or raid it. Now, again, what happened today? All right. Well, I just told you, we just discussed it, that ISIS has made an assassination threat against Barron Trump, who is Donald Trump's and Melania Trump's son. And they did it because, of course, that's near and dear to Trump's heart. It is his Achilles heel, and they know that. And Barron is a genius. Okay, he is more valuable. Not just, being a son of Donald Trump is extremely important, but what he is capable of doing is incredible. He's a genius. Okay, that's what he is. And his mother Melania and his dad, even Donald, they're all high IQs, very, very high IQ. But Barron is substantially higher than any of them apparently. Okay. So the CIA through ISIS made this threat against Barron. Wow. You know, that's pretty gutsy after the president has an MEU stationed 100 miles away from the CIA headquarters and possibly breached their computers by an NSA breach, would be my guess. I'm just guessing on this because of the story the documents were taken, okay? Certainly the CIA wouldn't have handed them over to any Marine officer that came in there. I don't care what kind of a letter from Trump he had. That would have turned into a fight. But they could have delivered a message from Trump. That's very possible. So there were some other things that happened today. There was I got this from Tracy Beans, that there was apparently a Humvee on the George Washington Parkway that was blocking traffic. I watched it for a few minutes, and it looked like it could have turned into something like a large ambush or whatever, but it looked like it may have just been something else, maybe a wreck, or maybe it lost power or something. But anyway, the point is that like all the other things that we were worried about, that thing on George Washington Parkway didn't go anywhere. Now, it's still only 22. It's coming up on 2,200 hours Mountain Time, 2,100 hours Pacific Time, and you know that the shooting in Vegas occurred at 22:05 hours Pacific Time. So we're not out of this yet. And I would also suggest that, you know, in battle, in war, it's fluid, and I've said that so many times. You know, you make plans, you have intermediate objectives, you have main objectives, but the method of getting there will flow. You'll have, you know, it'll go well one time or on one section of the attack, but it won't on another. And so the timetable isn't always exact. As a matter of fact, it very rarely is. So you have contingency plans, you have redundancy measures, all sorts of things. So we're not out of the woods by any means. But I wanted to come on tonight and just tell you that, you know, if we make it through till 2,400 hours Pacific Time, well, we did pretty good today, with the exception, and it's a major exception, of this threat against Barron Trump, again, by the CIA through ISIS. Okay? So that's where we are. I don't know how well, I don't know if I'll be making a live stream or any kind of video over the next 2 or 3 days. I don't know. It'll depend on if something occurs, okay? We're all praying that it doesn't. I know the person today that's the most relieved, at least right now, and hopefully by the end of the day, probably more than anybody, and that's Montegraph. And most of you know I talked to him last night. And you know, I'm not going to divulge all the things that we discussed, but suffice it to say that he almost broke down. He was so worried about what might happen today. But I think Trump's countermeasures took care of it, again, with the exception of this threat against Barron. And anything could happen from here on out, because as Jeb Bush said, as we've already talked about, they want Trump out by December. Okay, let's go through some of these questions. I didn't bring my glasses. Vegas has created distraction from bigger things. Well, it's part of the bigger thing. Yeah, if they hit Trump, and they know that, but you know, they don't care. It's like I said, if they're going to lose power, they just as soon destroy everything. Yes, I've heard about the radioactive cloud in Europe. Is Monograph on Twitter? I believe, you know, I think he is, but I couldn't swear to that. I'm sorry. I'm probably a little foggy tonight because, again, I haven't been sleeping, and I've been very, very concentrated on other things, so my mind's a little muckied up now. It's been 3 or 4 days. Of course, some people say my mind's muckied up all the time, you know. But anyway, all right. Montegraph, Montagraph. Just look for him on YouTube, Montegraph, and usually it'll correct and you'll go to the right one. I don't think there are too many called that. Who is the intended target in Vegas? Well, there's a lot of information again coming out about that now. There's one side, everybody except the LVMPD and the FBI agrees that there was more than one shooter. Now the question is from where and who they were, and so there's some disagreement back and forth on whether it was solely an ISIS attack, which I don't think it was, obviously, or something else. I think it was a combined effort by ISIS. Let's just say Saudi Arabian, the rogue side of Saudi Arabia, rogue side of the FBI, the CIA, the FAA, who all would have had to have been in on it in some way, and possibly ISIS or other radical units. But the suggestion of how this now we know was a moving gun battle through that southern part of the strip from Bellagio south, with multiple gunmen and multiple police units, etc., having exchanges. We know that it was larger than the shooter, supposedly up on the 32nd floor. Okay. All right. Have you seen the aerial photo of the rabbit in North Carolina, North Korea? I think I did see something that looked like that. Yeah. And we already are having suspicions about North Korea being a CIA run country. Okay. Saudi Arabia Air Force hit team commandos. Yeah. Yeah, but not loyal to the prince. Prince Salman. It was the other side. Walid Talal and his group, who are counter-Trump and counter the American constitutional republic. What happens if Trump is killed? Let's not go there right now. All right. Okay. Who does Q work for? Trump. Okay. The oligarchs' war continues, yes, and I am sure that there are things going on underneath the surface here out of our vision that if we knew about it, probably scare the hell out of us, okay? But Trump is trying to protect the American people from the war that is going on in the government, which again I've talked about since I've known about it for longer than this, but I started talking about it in 2013. And he can see it now, there's no question about it, and he's trying to protect the American people, not only from the trauma of knowing that it's going on, but the actual physical and emotional trauma that would happen if this thing breaks out into a full-blown shooting fight. Okay, Barron Trump and Trump's turkey pardon today. Yeah, good. I just got to say, it's a beautiful family. A beautiful family. And you can see it in Trump's face that he really is trying to do the right thing, especially when you look at this thing for Monograph, October Rains, after 70 years. Wow. It's unbelievable. Okay, who else can we follow for good? Okay, let me see. Ryan Bundy schooled everyone in court today. Yeah, I might as well mention the Bundy thing while we're at it, of course. They were railroaded by the federal government through the Justice Department. It began with the Bureau of Land Management, and then the FBI, of course, with backing up Hillary and Harry Reid, trying to go after the land there, but at the same time trying to protect evidence from coming out against Hillary and Reid. That's all the FBI is. It's a protection racket. That's all it is. And unfortunately, Sheriff Lombardo is one of their puppets. But some good things have happened in the Bundy case. And I don't know how it'll end up at this point, but they have found out, of course, that the prosecution, they've engaged in a lot of prosecutorial misconduct, and the government has not followed the constitutional requirements of these courts. When do they do that? But some evidence came out to show that the prosecutors had been basically hiding evidence, exculpatory evidence, from the defense and from the court. And I think the tide can be turned, because now they're seeing the snipers that the BLM had put out there, even prior to the standoff on the 12th, I think it was, of April 2014. The snipers that were pointed at the family, the camera systems, the way they beat up the family at different times, wholly outside the rule of law, wholly outside of it. A badge and a gun doesn't make you the law, and being a judge doesn't make you the law. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it was violated all of the time during this Bundy situation, and all of that is coming out. The Bundys are heroes as far as I'm concerned, okay? All right, so why don't we leave it there? I'll look at it, see if I can see if there are a few more questions here. Yeah, most judges are corrupt, and of course, you know, Trump's trying to change that. Man, this thing just is crazy, isn't it? Okay, let me see if we've got. What are the odds of an EMP attack? I don't know. Uh, in the Q documents, uh, Q has mentioned Red October several times. Now, I don't know. You know, the Q posts that came out today, I'm looking at them and I'm not. These ones I'm really not sure of. But let's take them on face value and say, okay, they are in fact from Q. He talks about that the Red October signal hasn't occurred yet, basically, is what he's saying. So some people have suggested that this thing about the Argentine sub is not what he's talking about. And they're kind of right. In these types of situations, you use similes, metaphors, hyperbole, okay? In my judgment, I think that the Argentine sub story is a cover for the fact that there's a North Korean sub active either in the Pacific or in the Atlantic. I don't know which. Okay, I don't have that information. But the real issue is that the Argentine sub, the Red October, as far as the Argentine sub is concerned, is probably not it. But we probably are looking at something to do with a North Korean vessel of some sort or another. Okay. All right, let's see if I can get this thing to start moving again. Now it's frozen up, so I'll just have to move it. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So you think Trump is for real? Yeah. You know, I've had my questions, but at this point, I'm behind him. I always have been behind him, but I'm not going to be as hard on him as I have. Yeah, Bundy Ranch is still tied to Uranium One. Yes, it is. A lot of pedophilia in the Saudis. There's no doubt about that. And I worked with the Saudis. Boy, what an experience that was. Yeah, somebody says here, donate money to Bundy through Larry Klayman. Yeah, I think that would be good. Roy is CIA. Man, what are you taking? BLMs are terrorists, both the U.S., United States Bureau of Land Management, and the Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I'd go along with that. Okay, EMP, I guess we would find out once we start our car. Yeah, if it starts, right? All right, let's see. Did the Bundys own mineral rights to their land? Well, certainly their own ranch they did. They had water rights, and they had access rights. It's called alluvial I forget the legal term. Like I said, it's been a long day. But they had rights to use the land and the water, and then on their own ranch, of course. Yeah, they did. Yeah. All right. A submarine is missing. That's the Argentine one, but my own personal opinion is that's a cover story for them looking for this North Korean sub. Okay, that's the way I look at that. Yeah, Hagman is always good. Yeah, they're talking about Bundy Ranch, the surrounding area. There was a BLM agent who was a whistleblower who basically told all about the minerals that they're trying to steal there from the Bundy Ranch. Yeah. Yeah, the missing Argentine naval sub might be a cover for another sub that is actually of North Korean origin. Yeah, I just said that running from Cass. That Tracy Beans thinks the Red October is not about the sub. And she's not incorrect in that it's not about the Argentine sub. That's true. It isn't about the Argentine sub. The Argentine sub is probably the cover story for all of the activities that they're doing looking for this other North Korean sub that may or may not be there and may or may not have nuclear armed ICBMs on them. Q saying he wouldn't post anymore. Remember, there's a lot of disinformation here. How many times have I said I'm not going to do this anymore? All right? And Q isn't calling the shots. He answers to President Trump. So very likely he thought he was done, or that group thought they were done, and then found out that they're not done yet. But some of those today looked a little odd to me. So I'm holding judgment on some of that. Okay. All right. When will Hillary be elected? No idea. October rains is Monty's site. one word. That's right. There, Beth Hummel is showing on screen right now. October Rains, just the way it's spelled right there. And then, of course, Montagraph, Montagraph is the other one. But after 70 years, I believe, is on the October Rains site. Okay. All right, let's see. We already know that MS-13 is a problem, so okay. Bolshevik Revolution, yeah. The American Red October, the American Bolshevik Revolution, the Communist Revolution in America is underway, and Trump is doing everything he can to stop it. And the CIA got their wake-up call that he's ready to go to battle with them this last weekend. Okay. So we know that that's there. Now, of course, they've threatened to kill Barron. All right, let's see what else is here that I might want to get. What was the mission that led to the helicopter crash on the Rothschild property? There's a lot of information back and forth on that right now. Q actually addressed that today, or the person that's saying that they're Q. And, yeah, there's some interesting questions there. Apparently there was a lot more to that. Of course there is, than anybody's letting on to. Apparently it was a larger operation than anybody's letting on to, including the British government. They're not going to let you in on it either. The nuclear cloud is false, covered evacuator for something else. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, like I said, this is the age of betrayal and deception. Who really knows what's going on in Antarctica, for instance? Dabu 7 today shows that there's an anomaly in the radar, or in the satellite images, coming up from Antarctica and heading over into Africa. What's that all about? Yeah, they're not going to tell us any of this stuff. They're wicked. They're trying to use all this for their own power. The Bundys are heroes. I absolutely agree with that. You can't find Patty Cakes. Do you have Twitter? If you have Twitter, go on my Twitter page, and you'll see it there after 70 years. Monograph, I think they censor his stuff, so it could be that when you're typing it into the search there in Yahoo or in YouTube, that it's not coming up. That's very possible. But keep trying, okay? And if you know anybody has Twitter, they could probably get it to you that way. All right, let's see. 80 years. Yeah. Okay, this 1-7 and these 5 4s and 4 5s, you need to go look at October Rains' Montagraphs after 70 years. Those do mean something, but not what most people think. Okay, cold chills sucks, haha, yeah, no kidding. All right, if you want to know what the 9/11/21/7 code is, go look at my video from last night. I don't want to repeat a lot of information here. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I'm really tired. I am. I agree. I'm worn out. And I know poor Tracy Beans. She was up. She had to go to work this morning at like 4 a.m. I guess Eastern time or something. And at 2:30 she sent out a tweet to a couple of us. And she said she was going to go to bed. She never did. She was up all night and then had to work today, and then came out here, went on YouTube and did her report on the new Q posts. That woman is unbelievably fantastic. It's crazy. All right. Yeah, the mystery jet and where, that's an interesting one. Scott Anthony sent me that information too. It's a little old information, but yes, it's important. And there are some other things that are happening as far as some odd movements of things around the country, but I don't have enough detail about it right now to give you any definitive information. So I'm just going to say it again. Just have your situational awareness turned on, high, and prep, pray, and stay out of the way. All right, let me see what. Somebody please delete hobo. Hobo. Is there a hobo here making statements? Okay, yeah, the witness in the uranium deal. The Hill reported on it today, and it's the death knell. The stuff that he revealed today. One part that was really upsetting is that Sessions, in his testimony to Congress about a week ago or whenever that was, the more I look at Sessions, I can't give him a pass anymore. The guy's either dumb as a box of rocks, or he's complicit with the deep state. I don't know. The stuff that he's coming out with, and the stuff that he's not coming out with, both are inexcusable. I'm really tired of him. I'm really tired of him. I don't know how Trump holds on to him. Trump's carrying a dead weight there. And again, is it a drama? I don't know. Not with what he said. I can't see it with what his testimony was last week and what the Hill said about it today. Crazy, crazy. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, I don't know about some of these things. Let's see. Good old hobo. Hi, good old hobo. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate you saying it. And John Bodesby found. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that was another thing that came out today. There are apparently, and I think this is substantiated, there are some aircraft that were trying to leave without proper clearance. I did hear about that. Could very well be. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Yeah, Jason Bourne. Yeah, there's a lot to that. Actually, when I first saw Jason Bourne, I was shocked that information was coming out of Hollywood. I was actually absolutely shocked, the whole series. I didn't think they'd ever let some of that out. So they must be at the next level or way, way, way above even what's in that movie by now. Was the BLM decommissioned? You mean the Bureau of Land Management? No, but I think that they're losing power now under Trump. Trump's hauling them back. He's reining them in. And that crooked agent, BLM agent in charge there at the Bundy Ranch was fired for not a what. Well, he should have been fired for what he did at Bundy Ranch, but that's not what they fired him for. At least not publicly. That it had something to do with corruption that he was doing with giving out Indian artifacts or those kinds of things that he shouldn't have been, and some things that he did at Burning Man 2 years ago. Yeah, Saudis never work. Who's saying that? Donald Trumpster. Were you in the military? Did you ever work with the Saudis? The Saudi officers are all nobility, and they even think that American officers are supposed to worship them and do their work for them. It was disgusting, and I'm sure they're still that way today. And a lot of people are going to be upset I said that, but that's just the fact of the matter. Okay, well, the North Korean sub is not a nuclear sub, and neither is the Argentine sub that they're using as the excuse for being out there looking for this missing sub. What we mean by that is that they have nuclear-capable weapons on them. That's what we're talking about, okay? Bush blew up opium labs when president. I remember how. Do you know these aren't file tapes? No, except, but I'm sure but Trump is going to do that, okay? The real question is did Bush do it? Okay, was he blowing them up? He had a stake in that because he was part of the CIA. All right, his daddy, all of that. So if there were any bogus pictures, it would have been from Bush, and of course, like with Clinton, bombing that aspirin factory, stuff like that. So if anybody's actually doing it, it's Trump. No doubt about it. Okay, enjoy some good turkey time. Thank you so much, and it's the same to all of you. Let me see here if I can grab some other question that I should. Red October Montana Ranch. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin, interesting. Yeah, I stayed away from Bitcoin. Maybe that was a mistake, but I think it's going to have some problems here real fast from what I'm seeing. I just haven't I don't like speculation, I like having plans ahead and all that, but there's a scripture that says two things, sufficient for the day is the evil thereof. That's the first one. And the other one is, give us this day our daily bread. I mean, yeah, you got to store things, you got to have preparations and all that, but I'll just say, I lost most of my what fortune I had when my wife got cancer and died. So that's maybe that's why I do this, because I feel like I gotta spill my guts on what I know, right? Because I certainly don't do it for money, and I'm not good looking enough for fame. I just got to talk fast. All right, who's saying this? Where do I begin? You must get a good night's sleep or you'll be sick. Yes, I agree. Okay. Well, I think we're done. Where is the 7 in monograph message? Yeah, at the end of it. It goes 911217. It's at the very end. Okay, yeah, the White Knight Prod just put it up. That's it. What happened? What's happening at Fort Hood right now? I don't know. They might be mobilizing. You know, and it's possible that some military units, certainly the Marines and certain units of the Army that are loyal to Trump, they could be on alert right now. I mean, with what happened this last weekend, and then now this threat to Barron, holy cow, man, we're playing with some really, really dangerous stuff here. Really dangerous. Okay, what was that? Monograph is his main channel. That's correct. Yeah, if you go to October Rains, it's hard to find, but yeah, and right now I can't remember exactly how I got to it. It may no, I don't think it was on the Monograph channel this after 70 years, but I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. And I don't know about the ghost one. I'm sorry, I don't know. There's this here. Liz Lark is putting it up. October Rains, right there, so everybody can see it. Thank you, Liz Lark. I appreciate that. Okay, what else have we got here? We're not going to get into chemtrails. Go look at Pam Jones' stuff there. She's the go-to person on that. She's passionate about it, but you'll get good stuff from her. Oh, that's nice. Stacy, she says, Roy, if you and your wife come to St. George, you stop by for coffee. I don't have a wife, Stacy. She died in 2008. I've dated a few times. I've been out with a few ladies. But I can't go into those stories. You know, if it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't believe it. And the people that have heard the stories, they can't believe it. As a matter of fact, I've been told I should write a book about what happened. A lot of it had to do with operatives. I'm dead serious. A lot of it had to do with intelligence operatives. So I'm real careful now. I'm real careful. All right, let's see. Any confirm on who was on the Rothschild crash? No, that's been going back and forth. Q put out some things today, and he was asking who was in the house, who was in the plane, who was the bad guy. They're saying it's the guy that was in the fixed wing. Who was the good guy, the guy in the helicopter? Who knows? You know, again, all of that's cryptic, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, Netanyahu's home was raided by police. Yeah, there's another thing. Q says that the Rothschild crash was an extraction mission, went wrong. That could very well be the case. Yeah, and again, we're not going to know all the details about that. Q is probably closer to that than we could possibly imagine. But they can't let too much out, because then they'll be able to figure out, of course, you know, who's getting the information, the intelligence methods, who's doing it, you know, all that, so they can't give us too much. Yes, Barron's school address. See, here we go. Karen's teacups, she knows. Yes, the CIA ISIS released the location of Barron's school. So Trump tells the CIA that he's going after their money by bombing and taking care of the opioid epidemic, and the thing that funds the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Hillary Clinton, and Obama, and the CIA, partially the CIA. And so now they're doing this. And an 11-year-old at that. Does that prove to you how evil these people are, what we're dealing with? And you know that Clinton goes along with it. You know that Obama goes along with it. They're evil. They're demons in the flesh. Their DNA is corrupt. Ugh. Okay, wow, that went fast. All right, I'm going to go. We've been doing this for 45 minutes, okay? You're right, I need to go rest. Thanks for coming by. I will let this process, and then I will put it on Twitter too, okay, for those of you who might want to go back through. I haven't been telling you much, really. But mostly just been shooting the breeze, but I think you know where we are, okay? All right, thanks everybody for coming. Please, once again, go to, it's either October Rains' channel or Montagraph, and whoever finds it, maybe you can start tweeting it out on Twitter or letting people know. I wish I had that information at my fingertips right now. Go see After 70 Years. Very, very, very incredible and very touching. All right. God bless you all. If I don't see you again before Thanksgiving, which I probably won't, unless the world blows up tomorrow, and then, of course, we may not have Twitter either. Oh, that's another thing. My Twitter got attacked today. it went down, totally went down for about a half an hour. I had to reboot my phone, reload everything in. That's how bad it was. Okay, there's a lot, and I know a lot of people are having trouble with Twitter and Facebook and all of those things. So they're definitely at it. All right. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We all have a lot to be grateful for. Our loved ones, our children, you know, the gifts and the blessings that we have, and absolutely that President Trump is up there taking all of this for us. All right, out here, everybody. Thanks.